be early, no shoes, your basketball shoes and your outside shoes are two different things. Have a hat, coat, so they were there, ready to go, and I was really impressed. Usually, at that level, sometimes things don't sink in the first time, but they got it. So I knew, maybe this was going to be a really positive experience. I was impressed with how receptive everybody was to instruction. I'd never got thank yous at the end of practice before, which was like, thanks, Mr. Coach Carroll. I was like, for what? I just made you run. But they were, they had that energy. And did they ever have any energy? I fed off of that, which was just, it was phenomenal. A lot of the girls, they play AAU. I think they're still playing basketball right now. And there was one case where they had a game on a Wednesday. It was a 3 o'clock game, 3:30 game. We got it moved to 3:30 so they could play again at 7 o'clock that night. And we won. It was incredible, the energy that they had. The very first game, I told everyone what my expectations were. We want to run the plays, we want to do that. And I kind of tongue-in-cheek said, it would be great if we won by 40 points. It'd be great if we won by 40 points. But we ended up winning 57-19. But they really were listening. So I'm glad I didn't say like 100. It would have been like that coach down in Texas.
I know.
When word got back at the high school that was the score. I'll be here all day. No, I will. I'll wrap it up. Sorry. But when word got back to the high school, that we had won 57-19, or when we won by that many points, I got really razzed by my colleagues for calling me Bill Belichick and purposely running up the score. The really problem was it was our first game, and we didn't have Stanford, which was the standard stall play. We didn't have that, so the next day of practice, we worked on Stanford, and we used it a lot. I didn't do the math, but the team was very dominant in their performance, and once again, it comes back to their coaching. No, it was all that. It was all that. Let's see here. What was the last thing I wanted to say? Oh, the best game of the year, though, and it was probably the coolest experience I think I've ever had in my short coaching and teaching career. Was at Braintree South. Braintree South. We were losing by about 10 points. I think maybe we were all tired. We stayed up late listening to our Jonas Brothers CDs, and so we didn't have our energy. Going into the game. Not the intensity that we usually had. So we were down by 10 with about 2 minutes left, and I called a timeout and I said, "All right, guys, let's really put it together." I gave my best Vince Lombardi speech, and we ended up winning that game by a point. We had a massive comeback, and everybody contributed. We pressed. We kept our cool under pressure, and it was really awesome to come back by 10 points. With less than, I think it was 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. We came back and won that game. So that was just phenomenal. And the best display of skill and talent for this team, we had to go to Pembroke, and I'm going to have a long conversation with our AD for scheduling a game that was an hour and 45 minutes away to get there. But we got there around 4:45. The game was supposed to start at 3. They gave us 30 seconds to get changed. We didn't have any time to warm up. So, we literally, as soon as we got in the building, we had to play the game. At the end of the first half, we were only up 20-15, which, that's still great. We ended up winning the game 51-17. So, I mean, they really stuck with it. There's so many hurdles that got into their way, and they just cleared them. They kept on going. So, I also think, last thing, I have a quick here note. We led the league in bruised knees. Everybody in our team, they come to practice, Mr. Carroll, Coach Carroll, look at my knees, they'll be black and blue. It's because they would have no regard for their physical well-being and diving after the ball. They were like piranhas after me. It was impressive. You can't really teach that stuff. All right, so needless to say, overall, thank you guys, nice job. Now let's get on to the awards. I'm going to go in alphabetical order. Okay. First up, I'll just call you up, and then I'll give you the certificate, a gift for you. So first up, we have Michaela Carnino. Michaela missed a few games at the start of the season, but she came back and was absolutely seamless in coming back. Here we go, let me give that to you. absolutely seamless in coming back. She was, when she came in, she was actually really fired up and wanted to get going. And it was actually, you know, her parents were like, no, not yet, not yet. But she was really rip-roaring and ready to go. So I always appreciate that. A tremendous defensive player. There was a game against Braintree East where she blocked a pass, went out of bounds, and it set the opposing coach off. He started ripping to his own players. Michaela walks the ball away, and all of a sudden the coach is screaming, you know, hey, Brittany, did she look like she was open? And it was all Michaela. And she destroyed that other coach. It was awesome. She gives 100% effort in practice and games. She challenged every pass. And once again, she's kind of the ringleader, had no regard for her own physical well-being. She went after that ball. So those are things I can't teach. So thank you very much. Nice job. Next up, we have Danielle Hayes. I'd like to know how many, I would like to know if we kept a statistic, how many jammed fingers she gave everybody by how hard she passed that ball. She fired it in there. She was get you signed up for the Red Sox. Here we go. Great passer. She was the key cog, and a lot of teams played us in zone. So she was our center. She was a key cog. She'd right up in the middle. She'd get the ball and fire it in for easy layups. I would participate in practice, and I think one game she fired a practice at me, the ball at me, and I went, whoa. It almost snapped one of my fingers off. So, very strong player, great game, great inside game, great post moves. Very strong. You know, the middle of the season, she'd end up with some foul trouble. I think because you were so strong, the referees just said, wow, you know, you're just knocking girls over. There had to be a foul. But I maintain it wasn't, but we won't even get into that. But needless to say, at the last game of the year, I think most of our girls had either had 4 fouls or fouled out with 5 minutes left. And I look at the book, and there's Danielle. She's only got 1 foul, so she's a quick learner. So nice job. She is also the winner of our Unsung Hero Award. Next up, we have Andrea Marcotte. Come on up, Andrea. I've given Andrea the moniker of Quick Shot Marcotte because she has a very quick shot. She was a game day player, great attitude. You know, kind of, you know, made everybody laugh, kept everybody's, you know, from the emotions from getting too high. Made me laugh. I think I laughed at least 2 or 3 times a day with her, not at her. She would always make 2 or 3 shots a game that I'd look back and say, well, where did that come from? But thank you for making that. She's extremely fast with the ball, great ball handler. It's going to be a real pleasure, you know, as she goes forward, watching her mature in her game. Once again, like I said, she was quick with the ball, but even a quicker whip. All right, so Andrea. Kaylee Marino. Kaylee Marino is she's a quiet player with a laid-back game, but is extremely aggressive in some instances. Fantastic free throw shooter. I think she was one of the winners or one of the top winners in our free throw contest we had in practice. There's one instance, and I will take this with me. You know, and I'll look back and laugh on this with Kaylee. It was one of the last games of the season, and you know, we were doing a pretty good job. We were maintaining a lead. We had our press going. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I don't know if it was the steroids or something, but all of a sudden, she just grabbed the ball. This girl was driving up. She goes right up to her, takes the ball, rips it away from her, and starts swinging her elbows. And I turn around, and the bench is looking at me, and I'm looking at the bench. Where did that come from? But it was awesome. We took the ball, and she went in for a layup, and it was just, you know, do that. It was incredible. I'm convinced that she grew a couple inches during the season because towards the end of the school year, or sorry, the end of the practice year, every shot she would block in practice, and it was incredible. So always willing to listen to instruction, very cooperative, but she has a great laugh, and I appreciate it because she's always laughing at my jokes, so that's why she was a favorite. So nice job, Kaylee. Next up is Eva Mazzoni. She's not here. Well, needless to say, just a quick note. I always said she was accidentally talented. She would score 15 points a game, and I say, "You did a nice job." And she, "Really? I did what?" And so, but she's a fantastic athlete. Did a great job in the season. She was also the winner of one of our winners of the Most Improved Award. Next up is Allie Perry. Unfortunately, she is not here. She's a little banged up at home. But needless to say, she was a team leader. She always cheered on her teammates. You know, I had her play in the 5, but she was really a 3 in AAU. I had her play in the 2, so she was very versatile. She had the pump fake of the year against Whitman Hanson. She did a nice little pump fake, and the girl from Whitman Hanson, literally, I've never seen somebody jump that far across the paint. Unfortunately, Allie missed the layup, but needless to say, it was incredible. So hopefully going forward, she'll be another one that'll be a real pleasure watching. She was also the winner of our Most Valuable Player. Allie Peters, okay, once again. All right, Allie Peter, I want to start off. Allie Peter had the block of the year. I'm almost willing to say the block of the whole program. It was against Bellingham. It was on the Bellingham player had a wide open layup going down, totally unopposed. Allie came out of nowhere and just swatted the ball away, and no one knew what would happen. It was absolutely incredible. It's an ESPN highlight film. Needless to say, though, she had the block of the year. Didn't make a lot of mistakes with the ball. I had her playing down in the post. Always got me 1 or 2 rebounds a game that we absolutely needed. So I always appreciated that. She was a quick learner, great free throw shooter, great athlete, and she was also the winner of one of our Most Improved Players. Next up, we have Ashley Snyder. Ashley is a fantastic outside shooter. I called her A-Money from the outside because every time she took a shot, you were very sure it was going to go in. From the first day of tryouts, she was clapping and cheering on teammates when they were finishing up running drills, which is, once again, that's something you don't teach, and that's certainly nothing I had asked for, but she was always there cheering on her teammates. I'm pretty sure she led the team in block shots. She played in the power forward position, and she would always have at least 2 or 3 blocks a game that were key plays, and then get the rebound. She was also a winner of our unsung hero, one of our unsung hero award winners. Next up, we have Hannah Walsh. Hannah is an extremely hard worker. I think she enjoys the pain because she would always ask to do more running drills, always wanted to do more in practice, which once again makes me kind of question whether we're working hard enough, but she's a machine. The defensive intensity that Hannah had was admirable. She really improved her shooting skills. We spent a lot this season working on the form of our shots. And towards the end of the year, I remember one practice she hit, 9 3-pointers in a row? And Hannah, what did you do? And, I don't know what I did, but I'm glad you learned it. It was impressive. I'm sure if you were to take the pads down at the end of in the Ahern gym, underneath the hoops, the pads, I'm sure you'd find a print of Hannah like Wile E. Coyote. Because she would run for the ball, even if everyone knew it was going out of bounds, she would just dive at the ball with no regard, even if there was a wall in front of her. And I once again, those are things you can't teach. And so, Hannah, I'm sure there's a body print of you down there. She was also the recipient of our Coaches Award. We have Danielle Wall. Come on.
Oh, Danielle Wall's little sister.
Danielle was absolutely terrifying on defense. We did a practice drill in our practice, and I was the dummy. I was the dummy player. And, you know, I was on offense, Hannah was on defense, and she came at me and scared me. And I got a couple inches on her, but she came right at me, it was right in my face, and I went, wow, I can't imagine what that would be like for one of our own opponents. But the intimidation factor worked because she was one of the best players on defense. She always made one or two defensive plays that would make me say, wow, where did that come from? She was a quick learner. She always attacked the ball. At the beginning of the year, she got a couple ticky-tack fouls going down. We got her to go up, and next thing you know, she's one of our best defensive players, if not the best. Great job. She's a quick learner as a point guard, driving and kicking against the zone defense, and she could always be counted on to make at least one or two important stops in the game. So thank you very much, Danielle. Fantastic job. And certainly, last but not least, we have Michaela Willis. Michaela had what I like to call the best shot of the season. Forgive me, I don't recall the team, but it was a few seconds left in the end of the first half. She was on the baseline and she hit a one-handed behind the back fading away swish shot. It was absolutely incredible, and I'm not one to let my emotions go on the sidelines during the game, but I had to raise my hand and say that was awesome. So it was incredible. She is a hard worker, very hard worker, worked really hard on her dribbling and rebounding throughout the year. Tough as nails. I think she hurt her wrist one time pretty bad during practice. Sat out a day, but she fought through it, which is very admirable. Needless to say, always gave me a couple important rebounds and defensive stops when the game was on the line. So thank you very much, Michaela. So that is all we have. Thank you very much. I hope I didn't take too long.
Hannah, Danielle,
Thank you.
That's all I gotta say. Thanks.
freshman team.
Coach Alan Petrovic. Coach B.
All right.
I'm old. Anyways, good morning to you all. I'd like to thank the boosters for their tireless efforts this season. And certainly for today, you really did yourself. It's a very nice outing, and I heard the food was fantastic. Congratulations to the 18 young women in the program. For me, academic excellence throughout the season. For me, that is quite an admirable thing to do, focused on their athletics. It really pleases me. So I'd like to congratulate all 18 that made it. I'd also like to congratulate the JV team and Coach Downs for their impressive 12-4 season this year. You guys are very tenacious out there. You look great. I'd also like to congratulate Coach Main and varsity for their 17-3 regular season performance. It certainly made for great chatter around the building. It was very exciting, and certainly nothing to shake your head at. It was great. To the seniors, finally, I wish you much success and happiness on your next journey. It's really been a pleasure working with all of you. I've kind of watched you all mature for the last 4 years, and it has been a pleasure. So I wish you well. I have to be honest, after dropping our first 3 games to OA by 37 points, Canton by 9, Franklin by 26 points, I'll be perfectly honest with you, I wasn't sure we were going to win a game this season. I really wasn't. But really, to commit to their character, I have to say they really worked very hard. 22 years of teaching and coaching, this team was the first team that I really had that truly worked so hard in practice. I mean, they were impressive in practice. Most children are not impressive in practice. Trust me. Oh, coach, this hurts. Oh, coach, I can't do that. But this group, I never had that. They came to practice every day, and they truly worked very hard. I also have to comment on a game at North Attleboro. I took a timeout. I got 26 eyes looking at me very intensely. I give them the play. I tell them what we're going to run. I need a simple stack. Official calls timeout, get on the floor, and I'm still yapping away. My children walk onto the floor and just stand there. So you know you're an effective coach when they just stand there. I mean, they went through this whole thing and they just. Anyways, we did actually finally get that down, and we came back with a solid offense against Stoughton. And again, this time I did call a timeout with 1 second on the clock, and everybody was looking at me like I was some kind of loon because we were up considerably, but I really thought it was a teachable moment. It's really hard to make kids understand that a second or 2 seconds of basketball is an eternity. It's a lot of time. It really is. So I had an opportunity, much to the dismay of the other coach. I called a timeout, decided to run a play, and God love them, they nailed it. And they nailed the 2 points on the buzzer. It was awesome. That was the highlight of my year. It really was. The second half of the season, I really had a different team. They were terrific. They came to play every game. We put a 5-game winning streak together. They beat Canton by 3. I mean, it was a nip and tuck, back and forth game. But you know what? They had perseverance and they hung in there, and they beat them by 3. And that was the team we had lost to in the first half by 9. The next game, Mansfield. Again, we had lost to them in the beginning of the season. They came back and beat them by 2. We had lost the first game to KP by 27, the first, and we came back and we beat them by 3. So, to their credit, they made such improvement. Each one of them made such improvements over the season. I was really pleased. We had kind of set a goal for ourselves to finish at 500. We actually didn't do that. We played a great game, another nip and tuck game with Sharon, and we actually ended up losing to them by 3. But we ended up closing the season 7-9. So I can't thank them enough. They really probably the most improved team I've had in a number of years. And they certainly are a pleasure to work with. Valerie Willis is not here. I didn't see Bug. Is Bug here? No. Okay. Val didn't make it, but on behalf of Coach Downs and myself, and I will say to you freshman parents, you lucked out because I wasn't chasing after you to do my book for each game. Val was awesome this year. She came to our away games. She did the book for Coach Downs at all our away games, and she did the book for me at home and away, and I truly appreciate her effort. She did a super job. So Val's not here, but thank you, Val.
Good job, everybody.
This first player really improved her game inside and certainly off the press. She did a terrific job on the boards offensively and defensively. Her best game was against North. She had 6 strong points from the inside and went 100% from the free throw line. That's number 22, Katie Delaney. I'd also like to add that Katie Delaney is a scholar athlete.
And there she is, folks.
This next player works very hard. She has played two positions very effectively this season. Her best game was against Mansfield, where she nailed 8 strong points in the paint over certainly much taller players. I love her attitude. Number 14, Catherine Hughes. had a great game against Franklin, laying down 4 off the offensive boards. She was also our number 2 shooter from the line this season, number 25, Melissa Burke. Mel? I'm on autopilot here. I'd like you all to know, I have provided for my children who love to steal my pre-wrap. And that goes for all of you. All of you, steal my pre-wrap. And when I need pre-wrap to wrap something, I have to go chasing around the building looking for an ounce of pre-wrap. So I want you all to know, starting with you people, you have these things. And next year, I had better not see one piece of pre-wrap for you dudes.
Oh, I'm just joking. I know you. But also,
This next player has very quick hands. She does a great job at forcing a steal, especially in a man-to-man situation. Defensively, she truly understands the concept of the fast break. Her best game was against Stoughton, where she had 4 steals, where she very selflessly passed it off to her teammates to score the hoops. Number 11, Kelsey Moore. This next player played a number of positions for us this season. She has a great attitude and is very coachable despite her smallness. She plays with a lot of heart. Her best game against Kim produced many points off the press for her teammates as she forced the turnover and buried 5 from the lane. Number 23, Leah Callahan. This next player worked very hard and improved her skills this season. She was tough off the press in the number 5 position and a solid rebounder offensively and defensively. Her best game was against Sharon, where she owned the boards defensively and never allowed her opponent a second shot. Terrific effort. Number 35, Shannon Simpson. Shannon, too, is a scholar athlete.
oh, that's it. Wow, that.
This next player can play the 1 or the 2 very effectively. She has great presence on the court. She's quick, can shoot the 3, and always plays a tenacious defense. She had a terrific game against North, scoring 10 points from the floor. Number 20, Brooke Martiniak. Brooke, too, is a scholar athlete. This next player is extremely coachable. She had a best game against Franklin with a tenacious play under the offensive boards, putting strong points in from the paint. Number 12, Kaylee Reese. Kaylee, too, is a scholar athlete. Shake my hand first. I push the rules. This next player works well with all her teammates off the press. She is very quick defensively and forces many turnovers. She has great potential and a terrific sense of humor. She makes everybody laugh. She had a great game against Sharon, forcing the steal. She was also our best free throw shooter from the line, 50% this season. Number 24, Sam Moore. This player is very talented and will be a force in the years to come. She has great presence on the court offensively. Her best game against KP with 14 points total, sinking 4 threes. Number 10, Delaney. This next player was a true force on the board. She has strong athletic ability. Her quickness in transition is a real asset. Her best game against North, she put up 10 points from the paint and 3 baskets coming off the board. Number 30, Tess Parsons. Tess 2 is a scholar athlete. This player has very quick feet and hands. She really is quick. She plays solid defense every game. She had game high 13 points against Stoughton and buried 4 threes this season. She is also this year's recipient of the Hustle Award. Christina Couch. Christina, too, is a scholar athlete. One key point I left out about this team, they did put down 39 threes this year. Pretty impressive for a freshman.